Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zai back at you. Anyway, as you can tell, the voice is kind of messed up. You know what I mean? Caught a little cold again. But anyways, what I really wanted to get into was this whole thing with Iran. See, people that were on my channel before know that I started to speak on politics. Not prison politics or street politics, but actual politics. Not that it really matters, or, I mean, nor does your vote. But, you know what I mean? I did like to come on here and throw out a little bit of information in order to not necessarily appease the masses, but for the people that really pay attention to politics. Now, this whole dude, the general from Iran, you know, once, like I said, there's certain news outlets I listen to, but then for the most part, they all turn out to be bullshit. Everybody got their own twisted version on exactly what's going on. But I decided to jump on this one when they said Iran, and I'll tell you why I jumped on this one. Not necessarily because they killed this dude, because he's just like any other dude that was considered a terrorist. Eventually they would let him run his course, and then they would take him out. That the U.S. has been known for that, you know what I mean? No, it's like kind of zero tolerance, you know what I mean? It's like in a lot of cases, you know, politics, you can only be used for so much, and then eventually people get tired of you, or you start to do shit that's a little bit beyond what you're supposed to do, and then they end up taking you out. I mean, most of these fools that go back to these other countries where they learn from out here, and not necessarily saying that the U.S. breeds these type of cats, but a lot of these cats are smart. They come out here, they get the knowledge, they send back as plants, and then they end up backstabbing the U.S. and doing what they do. But this dude in particular, he's been running around for upwards, I think, to 20 years doing what he did. And like they said, there was other cats that could have took him out, but they chose not to. But you know, like, this president reminds me kind of Bush, a little bit more gung-ho and like, fuck it, you know what I mean? And I'm not here to speak highly of the president or speak against it. I'm just saying the dude he just shoots it from the hip. As you can tell from all this Twitter shit, he just don't give a fuck. He gonna say what he wants, and people will either accept it or they will shy away from it, you know what I mean? Like I said, when it comes to presidents, they all do the same job, so not one is better than the other. Some's rhetoric is more radical than others. Some are more, how should I say, motivated by money, and then some are just, they're just so patriotic that that's all they see in their brain, you know what I mean? But not to stray from the sole intent of this video, you know what I mean? Like I said, I haven't really been uploading because at the end of the day, you know, YouTube is what it is. And they got a lot of little things in place to kind of deter you from uploading certain videos, especially anything that's going to get, well, most shit is going to get demonetized because you're going to say contradictive shit. Not contradictive, but controversial shit. So, you know what I mean? They tend to want to get rid of it. But, like, the whole reason I talked about this guy is for the simple fact everybody's up in arms. You got people really out here on the street worried about us going into the Third World War with Iran. And I'm just gonna be straight out. At the end of the day, Iran is not gonna fight us on no conventional war, because that they would lose by a landslide. And yeah, even though people say nuclear weapons, yeah, there would be a lot of casualties, but I can guarantee you that they would be wiped off the map. But nobody really wants to do that. For one, it's bad for business. For two, if you notice, every bank in the world is pretty much controlled by certain people, the 1%ers. And you know, you'll know who I'm talking about if you really not go into conspiracies, but if you just really know your history, as far as, like, even the U.S. don't own their own money. Their currency is owned by somebody else. So, and the people that own their currency pretty much control the world currency. There's only a few countries that's actually not on the table with that, you know what I mean? It's like they want to control all banks to make one world bank. Yeah, and Iran is one of the ones that they just haven't been able to bring to the table because the way they are. So all this shit is set up for a certain reason, you know what I mean? Things are going to happen accordingly. As far as the conventional war, boots on the ground, them declaring war with us, I highly doubt that's going to happen, just due to the fact that they, even with nuclear weapons, there's no way they can see this country. And that would, I mean, even if you were to do damage to the U.S., you would do a certain amount of damage and a lot of life would be lost, but the U.S. will wipe their country out. I mean, literally wipe their country out. If they were to use nuclear weapons on us, the U.S. will wipe their country out. And then some people say, well, Russia had their back. And, you know, I hear all that bullshit. But at the end of the day, don't nobody really want to get in that type of war with the U.S. So I'm just saying, Iran is not going to fight a conventional war. They're not going to come directly at us. They're going to extend as far as like little terrorist attacks, you know what I mean, try to take out certain diplomats, maybe cause other, you know, I mean, like there's other things that can damage the U.S. infrastructure, and that's what they're going to try to do, you know what I mean. It's a certain type of eco-terrorism and shit like that. They're not going to come at the U.S. directly and do certain things, because especially with the president that they got right now, there's always, like, you know what I mean, there's always a chance that if you push this dude too far, he gonna mess around and wipe out your country. So yeah, that's all I'm really saying on that. You know what I mean? People really don't have to worry about that. And yeah, like I said, for the people that might be like, why is this dude talking politics? Is because I like politics and I've spoke on it before. And if you go back on some of my older videos, you'll notice that I actually ripped myself outside of the prison box and decided to speak on things that was actually relevant. Most shit about prison, it's not relevant because you're not there. So I can only tell you certain things that go on and certain things to look out for and things you might want to avoid when you get incarcerated. But as far as politics on the street, they actually affect us. Not saying your vote really means shit, but yeah, basically all you have to do, you know what I mean, it's not that hard. Just understand that politics affect us in certain ways, and yeah, and who knows, any terrorist attacks that Iran decides to make, it can affect us, you know what I mean, if your family is actually want to get caught up in that bullshit. And you know, that's basically it on that, you know what I mean. Like I said, every once in a while I like to speak on other real shit outside of gangs, and who's a 2-5 and who's a PC, and who said this about Zod, and who did this about the Sioux. Like it's other things in life outside of just you know, prison and gangs, like, you know what I mean. So, you know what I mean, it's just one of those things. But I also want to tell people, you know what I mean, it's a new year. And I know people say, yeah, every year people say they're gonna invent themselves, but all I'm gonna say is if it didn't work for you last year, then don't bring it into this year. A lot of cats that you were with last year, you ain't gonna be with this year, because the way you think, your thought pattern as far as the shit that you want to do is no longer gonna align. Some people are always stuck in a certain position to where they don't want to do nothing outside of what they've normally did. And that's what I'm saying. If it didn't work for you last year, it ain't gonna work for you this year. Don't mean you should give up, but you know what I mean, don't let what you did last year dictate the beginning of this year. There's a lot of things that I took for granted last year and chose not to capitalize on, but I make sure this year I start off in a better situation. And anything that doesn't fit my agenda, anything that's negative and really has no room for growth, is thrown away. And that's what you got to do. You got to shake these people. You got to shake the negativity. You got to shake motherfuckers that would rather see you in a position to lose. You know what I mean? You gotta always be on board with it. You know what I mean? Always look out for yourself. Because if you stay worried about another individual and what they do, it's only gonna bog you down. It's just one of those things. That's how I say. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I mean? This year is meant to get rid of everything that's negative in your life. And it don't matter if it's a woman, it don't matter if it's your best homeboy. Sometimes even your day ones become so negative and so out of hand that you just gotta let them go, because if you don't, they're gonna keep you in a position to lose. You want to win this year. And I know, yeah, 2020, it's it's just another year. No, it's not. As long as you're breathing and you're still walking around and you still got people that really want to deal with you and they're actually reaching out to embrace you, then you're winning. Because when you're dead and you're no longer breathing, that's when you're losing. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. Don't give up. Don't allow cats to set you on the road. I do it all the time. Dudes that make me mad and I want to meet them in a certain place, or I'm thinking about the most horrific shit to do to them, but then I got to sit back and realize that once you're in the cage, they go on with their life. You know what I mean? A lot of these cats are plants and they cops, and all they want you to do is respond in a certain way so they can call the cops on you. It's easier to get rid of a threat that you don't want to face by pushing their buttons and making them do something that you know that they're willing to do. You know what I mean? It's like cats have did it all the time. They do it in prison. Dudes will push your button knowing you're gonna whoop their ass, but when you react to it and beat on them, then you're getting smashed up off the yard, and then it's an uphill battle for you after that. But that's all I'm gonna say, man. Don't worry about this Iranian shit, and shake all the people that ain't good for you. And that's all I'm gonna say. Your boy Zod. Hopefully I'll be at you soon. You see my voice is fucked up, but on that note, I'm out.